This is a first for the channel. For the past videos, we've looked at full-length films, cinematic journeys that unfold across hours. But today we're turning our attention to something more compact, yet no less powerful, a short film. Eric Matty's Vesuvius, created in 2012, may only last a few minutes, but its impact lingers far longer. In many ways, it feels like a prototype, a glimpse into the horror vision that Matty would later expand in Seklusyon. Here, the sacred and the profane collide, with imagery so unsettling that it leaves you questioning not just what you've seen, but what it says about faith, innocence, and corruption. So in this video, we'll break down Vesuvius, not just as a horror film but as a creative blueprint for one of Eric Matty's most haunting works. Let's talk about Vesuvius. Let me tell you the story. The short film follows a man stuck in the monotony of his life. He spends his days at a dull job, takes care of his sick mother, and quietly longs for a woman who doesn't notice him. His life seems empty and directionless. One night, an apparition of the Virgin Mary appears to him. She whispers instructions that he believes are divine. Convinced he is chosen for something greater, he follows these whispers. This leads him to break into the woman's house. In a disturbing sequence, he assaults her and the night ends with her death. What he sees as obedience to divine will is revealed to be something far darker. Later, he wakes up in a room filled with flies. The apparition appears again, guiding him toward his mother's room. But then the illusion breaks. The figure's feet are revealed to be those of a goat. It was never the Virgin Mary. It was a demon in disguise. The film ends with a man smiling at his mother's doorway, while a text card explains that while many claim to see visions of the Virgin Mary, Catholic doctrine teaches us that such revelations ended long ago. Most of the time, these visions are not holy at all, but deceptions. We often hear about faith as a guiding light, something that gives people strength in dark times. But Vesuvius flips this idea upside down. Here, faith is not salvation, it's a trap. The man believes he's chosen, that the Virgin Mary has spoken directly to him. That belief alone gives him purpose. But Eric Matty asks us, what happens when faith is not grounded in truth but in illusion? This is where horror comes in. The man isn't guided by God, he's manipulated by something darker, something that hides behind a holy image. And that's why this film stings. It reminds us that faith without discernment is dangerous. Because when you're desperate for meaning, you'll follow any voice that promises it, even if that voice leads you straight into the abyss. The scariest villains aren't monsters with claws or demons with horns. They're ordinary people who one day decides to cross the line. That's what we see in Vesuvius. The man is not special. He's a caretaker, a worker, someone living a life that feels small and meaningless, but that emptiness makes him vulnerable. When the Virgin Mary appears, he finally feels chosen, seen, important. That hunger for significance transforms him into something monstrous. And that's terrifying because it reflects reality. History is filled with people who committed atrocities not because they were born evil, but because they wanted to belong to something greater. They wanted purpose. The film's horror lies in that mirror it holds up to us. If life feels empty enough, how far would you go to feel complete? Horror is always scarier when it invades the familiar. A haunted house, a dark hallway, a family member acting strangely. And in Vesuvius, the home is where the terror lives. We watch the man move through spaces that should be comforting. His bedroom, his mother's room. But instead of warmth, these places become stages of horror. The assault happens in a private room. His mother, someone he should protect, becomes his final target. Even the Virgin Mary herself doesn't appear in a grand cathedral, but in the shadows of his home. This flips the idea of home as a safe space. What should protect us instead consumes us. And the ending, His smile as he looks at his mother makes it clear. Evil doesn't always come from the outside. Sometimes it grows in the very place we feel the safest. Vesuvius may be short in length, and so is this video, but its horror lingers long after the screen fades to black. Eric Matty doesn't rely on jump scares and cheap scares. He uses faith, loneliness, and the comfort of home to create something far more unsettling. The film forces us to ask, how much of what we believe is truly divine, and how much could be deception in disguise? By showing us the corruption of an ordinary man, Vesuvius reminds us that evil doesn't need to knock on the door. Sometimes it's already inside, smiling back at us, wearing the mask of our faith.
White and long, crooning over moonlight bay. Banjo throng, tuning while the moonbeams play. All alone, unknown, they find me. Memories like these remind me of the girl I left